Hello YouTube people. Today we're taking a look at the Taptes Model 3 wireless charging pad. Now this is actually the most affordable option that exists out there, and it does have several pretty good features. When you get it, it comes with a 3M sticker, which I've seen a lot of those not actually have the sticker, but that should actually help this stick down pretty well. There's a few methods to get it to stick down tightly, but this one's kind of taken that route. It also is one of the only ones that includes, if I can pull this out, it includes this Y splitter, so you can charge using just one USB port, which is pretty nice because you tend to want to have one of those USB ports available for using your dash cam or something of that nature. So let's take a look at it from the side. Pretty simple. It's fairly flat, and this is a soft rubberized texture. It has a divider in the center to let you place a phone on either side, and it does have some light indicators. It does look similar to the Nomad Model 3 charger, which we'll get to some comparisons in a second, but initial impressions are I like the soft touch feel. It's not rattling. I like that they include the Y connector. So really what I wanted to do here is a few things. One is the profile of this charging pad. I have a Note 9, and with the Nomad wireless charger, it was too thick. It made it so my Note 9 couldn't sit inside the Model 3 tray and actually close the door. I'm hoping this one actually lets me do that. So let's take it to the car and see how well it does. Okay, so here is the Taptes Model 3 charging pad installed and in place, and that's really not going anywhere. As you can see, it fits in there really nice and tight, and you can see even my Galaxy Note 9 fits in there pretty well. Kind of just barely fits in there, and the top does close, and it will even close with the case on it, which it didn't with the Nomad just because it was too thick, so that is a plus. However, the lip is a little bit thin at the bottom, but that's not too big of an issue. But there you go. It seems to work just fine and installs great, so everything you'd expect. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do was test how many watts this charging pad can put out. So I have my USB tester, and the yellow is the volts and the green is the amps. Hopefully you can see that it's kind of small. But let's go ahead and plug this in. And I'm using the splitter right now, so we're getting just results if you have this plugged into a single USB port. Now, this is not a perfect test because it's not in the car, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel and a comparison to other devices on how well they do. So idle drain is 0.04 amps and 5.1 volts, so it's pulling 0.04 amps. Let me go ahead and set my Note 9 on the charger, and I can see that it is pulling. It peaked at 1.18 and now it dropped down to 0.79, 0.69. So right now this is charging at only 3 watts, between 3 and 4 watts. So we'll have to see if that does any better if I plug in both USB cables. Because right now, charging at 3.5 watts, that's going to take quite a while. But before I get too far, let me take this phone out of its case and see if that improves things. Okay, now with it out of the case, it's charging at 1.3 amps. 1.31. So that's now charging at about 6 to 7 watts. So that's a much better result. And that's off of just a single USB. So that's a better result. 6 watts. So let's try plugging in both of these and see what happens. It may not change anything. So it looks like that goes to the left side and the other might go to the right side. Yeah, just one of those. So you've got one cable per side, so that's actually pretty easy to test. It doesn't merge that power, it just goes off of what it has. So you can see that second cable is pulling all the power for the right side, and if I were to put it on the left side, now this charger is pulling the 6 to 7 watts. 6 to 7 watts. So you get 6 to 7 watts per side, and that's not a bad result. That's about what you'd expect. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Taptes Model 3 wireless charger. I think it's a pretty good solution. If you compare it to something like the Jada version 2, they're quite similar. I would say that the Jada is a little bit thicker, but the Jada actually did not charge as quickly as the Taptes. Believe it or not, I even tried the Qualcomm 2.0 ports, and it didn't seem to make any difference on the charging. So I may have to look into that further. But from a thickness perspective, the Taptes is skinnier, but in my eyes, that is a bonus because you get better phone compatibility. And if you compare the Taptes to the Nomad, the Nomad is extremely thick, while the soft touch material is very soft, and you can tell it's just more rigid, more durable. It caused compatibility issues for me as well. So really, I think the Taptes is a really valid solution. Now, if you needed landscape mode, the Jada is pretty much your only pick. So if you really want that landscape mode, you got to get the Jada. Or if you want wireless and cable charging, that's some good features on the Jada in comparison to the Taptes. But for half the price, this Taptes works. It actually charged quicker than either of the other two under standard USB ports in my testing. So that's probably just because the arrays are maybe right underneath there. So I think if you only want a side-by-side solution, start with the Taptes because it's actually a great deal and it seems to work pretty well. So anyways, that's my review of the Taptes Model 3 wireless charger. Thanks for watching.